100 men versus gorilla.
100 men?
Strong, able-bodied men. Yes. All right, Fabi, we're in Bucharest, just about to begin the Grandmasters tour, the second leg of the tour, the first one that you're playing. But before we start, I think it's a good idea to tackle the important topics of the day. 100 men versus gorilla.
100 men?
Strong, able-bodied men. Yes.
I've seen it posed as 100 people, but okay, sure, 100 men versus one gorilla.
Yes.
What's the question?
A silverback gorilla weighing around 400 pounds versus, let's say, 125 to 35-year-old men of average strength.
Just normal guys.
Who's going to take it in a fight?
In a fight with what conditions? What are the conditions? Because
Hand on
gorillas don't fight people.
You have no tools.
Okay, sure, but
people have
gorillas
no
also
tools.
don't fight people.
Well, that's discussion.
I mean, if there are 5 men standing up going towards the gorilla runs away.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, for sure. Like,
okay, let's say you're trapping this gorilla. Like, the gorilla cannot hide. The gorilla cannot run. Like, it has a limited space where it can run. And you have 100 people.
so it's like in a
100
cage now?
It's a pretty significant cage, like let's say 100 meters by 100 meters. So you can run around, but I mean,
Okay.
you're not going to escape.
Okay, sure.
Like, you're going
And
to get trapped
the
at some
one
point.
goal is that the people have to kill the gorilla and the gorilla has to kill the people to survive.
Correct. You can also resign as a
You
group,
can resign.
as a group or as a gorilla.
So what stops you from resigning? Because obviously you don't win by fighting, right? There's nothing to gain. So
Well, if you resign, then the debate is over. Like, who do you think would resign first, I guess?
well, the gorilla doesn't even have the mental capacity to resign.
That's actually a good point, yes.
Okay, let's just say they can't resign it because
Sure. Sure.
so they have to fight to the death.
Yes.
And they know that the only way to get out is for anyone to get out, because obviously the people have to have a incentive.
The people have to kill the gorilla.
They need to, and they know this. They know they need to kill
Or incapacitate the gorilla. I don't know.
incapacitate.
Whatever. You
Well,
basically
anyway,
just-
if you incapacitate,
you win.
you
You win.
you
Yeah.
kill it, right? I mean,
If you KO the gorilla, you win.
if you KO it. I mean, obviously the people win.
So I've read a little bit about it. My initial instinct was that the gorilla would win easily. But then I did read a little bit of lore and of expert opinion. And they are saying that, what's your take? Like, how do you see the people winning? I don't know how much research you've done on this, but how do you see the people winning?
I mean, I assume that there's like an ounce of coordination, and it's not just people falling over themselves. So let's just assume there's some coordination between the people.
Sure.
They work together somewhat.
Sure. But you have no tools.
Yeah, no. Obviously, I mean,
no sticks, no stones, nothing.
I mean, if you have spears, then I'm pretty sure that like 3 people
It's
take
over.
out pretty much
Yeah.
any animal.
Yeah, it's over, of course.
So the first thing is that gorillas are really strong, but they are still animals. I mean, they have they're much stronger than humans.
Much stronger.
Yeah,
yes.
they're
I would
much
say
stronger.
I think it was something along the lines of 7 times the strength of the average human.
Sure,
man.
I don't know exactly, but that could be. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be.
Very strong.
Sounds about right. I mean,
Yeah.
they're bigger. They're not really taller. Probably about the same height if they're standing on 2 feet.
I would say a silverback is probably going to be pretty big.
Okay, maybe they're taller too. It depends. Humans also come in all sorts of heights, and humans also come in all sorts of weights. But we assume that we're not talking about 400-pound linebackers.
No.
And we're probably also not talking about 400 people confined to a wheelchair, for example, right?
No.
So we're talking about maybe adult male will be usually between 150 and 200 pounds, somewhere in
Correct.
that range.
Yep.
And usually between 5'9" to 6'1", let's say.
Sure. Average height.
For example, yeah, something like
Average
that.
height,
Maybe
yeah.
average depends on the country. Could be 5'9",
That's more or
5'10",
less
or
the
5'11",
average.
yeah. And yeah, a gorilla could pretty quickly kill someone, but they would also be extremely overwhelmed by having a number of people around them. Let's just say that you might have 15 people in a circle around a gorilla.
Sure.
For example.
That's
extremely overwhelming also mentally. Like it is. You don't really know what to do first. And it's very dangerous for the people. They could easily die.
Well, that's the thing. If we are going into the mental aspect of it, what do you do if you start seeing people around you dying?
I mean, you have the understanding, I guess, because also gorillas don't fight humans.
Yes.
Unless they have a really good reason, and they would probably only fight, like, if they were threatened by one person, then they would probably kill that one person.
Yes.
But they probably wouldn't act aggressively towards one person unless given a reason to, unless they feel threatened. And they wouldn't attack like a group of people. Like a gorilla would not attack 5 people in a group. It's just too intimidating.
Yes.
Humans
Yes.
are tall, they look big.
Sure.
The gorilla doesn't know,
Sure. Yeah.
if you're, like we might have a cognitive understanding of the strength difference, but they probably wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
5 people is very intimidating. I mean, 100 people is an army.
Yes.
So, obviously, the gorilla is not attacking 100 people. Now, and it is a cage, right? It's a cage fight, so you can't escape. So
It's a very big cage.
You kind of have to fight.
You have to fight.
Right?
At some point, you have to fight.
Yeah. So we assume that the humans act in a rational manner.
Yes.
You have to fight. You're not just going to go crying in a corner waiting.
I mean, you could. But yes.
We should assume.
Let's
that-
assume you go at it.
That the people have at least some sense of self-preservation. It's not really in your interest to charge a gorilla, usually. But if you charge a gorilla and I charge a gorilla and 10 other people, then it will also get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And if there's like 4 people hanging onto a gorilla's arm, I think it pretty quickly goes down. Just because there are too many people.
Hmm.
And even if it kills 10 people or incapacitates 15 people, like 100 people is just so many. There's so many people, and the weight of 4 people hanging onto an arm,
On top.
or just like one is around the neck and one is holding onto the torso, and one is on. I mean, it's just so many people, and the gorilla would go down. It would also get exhausted quickly.
This was the point that the expert was making. The fact that you probably would have to sacrifice about 20 to 40 people.
No way. It's
20
not
to
so
40
many people.
people, yeah.
No, not so many people.
I mean, I would assume you get one punch from the gorilla to an average human. It cracks your skull. Like it puts you down.
I mean, it depends also.
Probably
because,
doesn't
like,
kill you, but
Not
it puts
every
you down.
punch is equal as well for
Yeah.
humans, and I assume for any animal.
It's going to
Not-
break something.
Not everything will be equal. Like some will be very direct and targeted. Like you could get punched, and it's a very direct punch, and
Mhm.
it just knocks you out or kills you from a human.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or it could be a punch that doesn't hurt you too badly, right?
Yeah,
So-
but the strength of a gorilla is, imagine probably the strongest boxer, the punch that you would get from a boxer, which is extremely damaging,
Mm.
times 7.
Sure, but the thing is, like, people always are estimating the maximum output,
Yeah,
which is not a guarantee.
sure. It's going to
Right.
fatigue the gorilla. But the gorilla probably doesn't really think, hey, I should preserve my energy. Like
I
probably
don't-
just
well,
swings
we obviously don't know.
wildly.
Yeah, and it might not necessarily connect. I mean, again, the thing is that it's going to be overwhelmed too quickly, and it can't attack in all directions at once. It's going down with a bunch of people on top of it. It's going to get smothered
Mhm.
very quickly.
Mhm.
It's going to be pinned to the ground with like 20 people on top of it, and and at that point, it's kind of over.
There you have it, the C-squared
And
verdict.
I'm like really confident about this. That, I don't underestimate animals. Animals are incredibly, even like small ones are incredibly.
A cat is dangerous.
Maybe
Cat
not
is
a
very
house
dangerous.
cat, but
3 house cats, if they're angry, if they're cornered.
no. I mean, no, once you get. But the thing is, numbers are just so powerful. It's like, a house cat doesn't threaten a person in a fight for sure. But if we're talking about like 5 cats or something, it's just overwhelming at some point.
Yeah.
100 cats, it's obviously over.
No, come on. I mean, like 3 cats, I think it's over. 3 house cats.
I think
Non-aggressive, just if you like force them to be aggressive, instinct is going to kick in. They're going to be like extremely, extremely dangerous.
Yeah, again, like animals don't really fight
Yeah.
unless they're predators. I
Yeah.
mean, unless they view you as prey, they're not really going to attack you. But okay, I thought it was more interesting with the bear, because a bear, like the polar bear, because a polar bear is a very aggressive animal that views a human as prey if it sees a human.
Oh, you're saying 100 people versus 1 polar bear.
It's like somewhat more interesting. I still think 100 people is 100 people, but I mean, then you can see people like dying really quickly, and also they're so much stronger than gorillas.
Are they?
They're so vastly bigger.
Mm.
Polar bears are
Yeah,
enormous.
They're big. They're big.
They're really big.
I've
Yeah.
seen one once. I think it was in Chicago.
In a zoo. In a zoo, yeah.
Chicago Zoo.
Yeah. Which I think they sometimes look a bit sad in zoos,
He didn't look very big. He wasn't a big bear. He wasn't a big polar bear. Malnourished, probably.
Maybe. I saw like a sad video once of a polar bear trying to. It was obviously starving, and it was trying to get at walruses. And walruses are you can't imagine how enormous they are.
They're big.
And
yeah.
you can't really penetrate their skin, which is so thick.
Yeah.
And it was trying to bite into walruses, and it was like a sea of walruses, like thousands. I mean, you couldn't see the water; it was just all walrus.
Mm.
And it was trying to bite into the hide of a walrus, unable to.
Why was the walrus just like hanging around?
I mean, they were just.
Was it dead?
No, it was thousands of walruses. I mean, but
Why weren't they attacking?
they're
the
not.
bear?
They're not aggressive,
So they just stay and like get eaten.
but they don't get eaten. The polar bear couldn't penetrate it; it just gave up after a while.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it was a bit sad.
That's actually pretty sad. All right, there you have it. The verdict of C-squared: 100 men versus 1 gorilla. Gorilla probably wouldn't stand a chance. Again, initially I really thought that the gorilla would win easily, but then I did my research and I kind of sort of see it happening. Like you exhaust the gorilla, runs out of energy. Apparently it doesn't have as much energy as a human, as a regular human, and it tires very, very quickly. So
Well, this is like the greatest physical advantage of humans, is that we have tremendous stamina,
exactly, yeah.
which like land animals
They don't. They don't.
I think
yeah.
sea animals
Probably
do,
Probably do.
but land animals,
They tire quickly.
yeah, they can be really fast or really strong,
Yeah.
but they also get. I mean, cheetahs can go
Run
60 miles an
extremely
hour,
fast.
but maybe for like 30 seconds,
Yeah,
and then they have to stop.
yeah.
Which is one of our like main hunting techniques, was to just walk or jog after an animal
tire the animal.
over the course of
Yeah.
days,
Yeah.
and just track its prints, and then eventually catch it when it's already too
Gives
tired,
up. It gives up at some point.
or
I
just
guess.
physically,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe not mentally, but physically gives up.
Interesting. Very interesting. There you have it. All right. Back to chess. Not much to say about our previous episode, but yeah, it became pretty apparent that he was cheating, and that's that. We might have a challenge later on. We'll see if we go about that. Grandmasters Tour. Let's tackle that. How are you feeling about the first classical in a while, actually?
Yeah, the first
chess.
classical time control classical starting position.
Yeah.
It's it's the usual suspects, many of them,
Yeah.
and the usual format. I'm looking forward to it because it's part of the tour that I think is important, and
Mhm.
ends with the final 4. So it's a bit different. It's not like you're necessarily aiming to win the tour from like every event, like it was last year. You just have to win every event, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more like, you want to get into that Final Four, right?
Is it only 4 players at the end in Sao Paulo?
4 players, as far as I know.
4 players. Okay. I really thought it's more than that, but yeah,
I think
you're
so.
probably right.
I think so. Which is a nice system, I think.
Yeah.
I was encouraging that, the change. We had that in 2019. Then obviously 2020 didn't have anything. 2021, the Grandchester Tour was back, but not with a Final Four.
We had that in 2018 also. I remember.
Yeah, 2018, 2019.
And then you had to come back to London.
Yeah, I
3
played.
days later.
I played matches against Hikaru and against Levon.
Yeah.
In 2018. In 2019, I didn't qualify. The Final Four was Magnus, Ding Liren, Maxime, and Levon.
I want to say Levon.
I think you're right, but I'm trying to. So, Maxime beat Magnus, and Ding beat Maxime, and Magnus beat Levon, and Ding beat Levon. I think.
Ding won it, right?
So it was like Ding Ding first, Maxime second, Magnus third, Levon fourth. As far as I know.
I think you're right. Yeah.
This was the last like good showing from Ding.
From Ding, yeah. 2019 was easier. He really did well. He beat Magnus in a match in Singfield as well to win the tournament.
Blitz playoff, yeah. Blitz playoff
match, yeah, playoff.
I think one and a half. He won the last game with Black. In a pretty exciting game. He won the Blitz playoff. He won the Grandchester Tour. I think I felt like a little bit critical of the system anyway, because Magnus did overall dominate the points. Like, if you look at the whole thing, I mean, Ding did win the matches in the end, so he was the most clutch player. Of course, you deserve to win. But it did feel like Magnus's superiority in points was pretty vast, and he didn't really have, like, you don't have an advantage getting into the Final Four. It's not like you get a bonus for the points. Like, he won Zagreb with a really good score. I think he won some Rabbit and Blitz event. Singfield Cup he shared first, but lost the playoffs, so he got second. But somehow he got like 60-something points. I forget who was second. And then the Final Four, and it didn't actually count how many points he got, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, no system is perfect. It was still, I think, a very good year. I mean, the 2019 year was one of the most exciting ones. Maxime beating Magnus, some like really good Nightorf games, really from an interest point of view, really good. Ding beat Maxime, and he was playing very well. He actually dominated Maxime in that match, I think. Wasn't very close. And hopefully we see something kind of similar.
Should be interesting. Have you ever played in Brazil?
Yeah, 2012. I played what was called the Grand Slam. It was a tournament which was held a few times, but I only played once. It was split between 2 different cities. First, Sao Paulo, basically like 7 days, 5 rounds. Then it went to Bilbao with a 7-day break. So we're just like hanging around for a week between the.
Go to the beach.
I mean,
probably.
Well,
right? I mean,
I don't remember which
it's Brazil.
Time.
Might as well.
No, I mean the break was in Bilbao because you want to adjust to time.
Right.
Like the first half, I dominated. So it was first game I beat Magnus. And I was losing, but somehow I just tricked him in the end. It was a crazy game. I also beat Levon. No, sorry, I drew Levon from a losing position as well. I beat Paco, and I beat Sergey in one of my best games. Like I use that game as a sort of like a ideal
benchmark,
a model game for the Archangel.
Yeah.
It's even like in the Archangel course I have, it's one of the diagrams is from that game, because it's like I sacrificed 2 exchanges. It was a really nice game. And so I beat Magnus, Paco, and
Is this the tournament where Ivanchuk got robbed?
Well, that was not that
the
year.
first leg,
not that
right?
year, yeah.
It was a previous year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the second half, I scored 50%, and Magnus caught up to me. And we both had like a good tournament. It was like 2,900 performance from both of us, plus 3, I think, from both of us. But then he beat me in the Blitz playoff. And then people asked me, because I drew in the last round with Paco, black. And people asked me, why didn't you try harder to win? You know, like you were shared with tying with Magnus, but to me, I was black against a 2700 player. He was aiming for a draw from the opening. I didn't really know the best way to avoid it, and didn't think it made sense to. I still feel like that was a very reasonable decision at the time. Okay. That I lost the Blitz playoff against Magnus, and that's the last time I was in Brazil.
Yeah. So this one, who do we have? So you're probably are you the top seed? No,
Gukesh is higher
top
rated.
seed. Gukesh, you,
Noterbeck.
Noterbeck,
If we're going by
Alireza.
rating, yeah, Alireza, Levon is
Levon.
playing, Wesley, Duda, Dayak, Maxime. Did I get everyone? Wait, me.
Pragnananda.
Oh yeah, Prague. So by rating, it's probably like Gukesh,
Prague,
me,
Maxime,
Noterbeck,
Dayak.
Prague, Alireza, Levon, Wesley, Maxime, Duda, Dayak.
Yeah.
And that is 10 players.
And Dayak is the wild card, 9 tour players. So all the tour players have to play the classical events.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be quite competitive. You're starting with 2 blacks, which means that...
No, I don't start with 2 blacks.
Oh, you're not?
I'm number 10, so I just alternate every round. Black against Duda, then white, I didn't check against who. Black, white, etc.
You're going to get a reverse in Singfield. Playing Duda against Duda tomorrow. How are you seeing that one play out? How do you see the whole tournament play out? You've won it last year, I want to say?
2 years, last 2 years.
Last 2 years?
Yeah. Last
so
year,
you're defending champion for the last 2 years.
Last year by like very narrow.
That was
margin.
tiebreaks against Alireza.
The year before wasn't spectacular, +2, but it was clear first somehow.
Yeah.
This tournament traditionally...
It's a very low scoring event.
Yeah, doesn't have huge scores. I think Mamedyarov won in 2021, I'm going to say, with like +3. That was a good score. Maxime in 2022 shared with Levon and Wesley, maybe. I might be getting it wrong, but there was like a 3-way playoff, +2, I think, which is a pretty low score as well. Maybe +3, but I think it was +2. 3-way tie, so probably not +3. I don't think 3 people scored +3.
Last year was pretty bad, and I feel bad for the organizers, right? Because this is, let's say, the HQ of Superbet.
But last year was a more exciting one, because if I had just drawn my last game,
okay, but
no
before
playoff.
the last game, it was like quite boring. Like you were the only one that was scoring, more or less.
I mean, not more than other. Like Alireza, I think won. I won 2 games. Alireza won 2 games. I don't know. It wasn't, and Alireza almost won 3 games. Because he was winning against Prague in the last round. And I mean, it wasn't like I was scoring so much, you know. I think we've had a few of these events where like the draws start a bit early. Like there was London Classic 2017, I'm going to say, where like the first 4 rounds were all draws. And then I beat Karyak, and it was like the first decisive game of the tournament. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, finally a decisive game!" But then Jan and I both scored +3, so it was still a pretty, and there was a playoff, so it wasn't like it can't always be boring.
Yeah, I mean, from a player's perspective, it's never going to be boring, right? It's only a question of the old adage of people complaining about too many draws in classical chess. But yeah, should be a fun one. Should be a good event. Hopefully, good start for you. What else? Do we have anything else to discuss? Probably not. I guess there's been a few things that have happened, but...
Wenjun became world champion?
Oh my goodness, we haven't talked about that.
Yeah, we didn't mention it. We did not mention it once.
We should have talked
well,
about
she didn't become world champion. She defended her title she's like 5-time world champion. And it wasn't, I wouldn't even say defended, because she kind of dominated the match so much that defended doesn't feel like a right word.
She lost the first game, well, not the first game, but the first game.
Decisive game? Wait, was it the first game? Or they started with a draw? And
No,
then she
they
lost the
started
second
with
game
a
in a
draw.
yeah, and then there was a rook endgame which she lost, and then
I think she won like 4 in a row or 5 in a row or something like that.
Probably 4 in a row, and like she did win, I think, 5 games after that.
She's
or
tough
like
to
plus
beat.
4. Yeah,
She's
wasn't very wasn't very close of a match. I mean, aside from that one game, it was complete domination. I think I did, like, when I asked by Chess Base India, I picked her to win, but I said it would be close, and it was not close. So yeah, that was a good result from her.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to stop her? Who do you think has any chance right now in a match against Wenjun?
And I think players will have a chance.
A good chance.
It depends what you mean by good. Like, okay, we're assuming Hou Yifan doesn't play, so okay, Hou Yifan, since she became like number one, she was clearly the best player with Judith no longer in the picture.
Mm-hmm. But how do you think that match actually? Let's play it out, because
I still think that Hou Yifan would win, because she would probably have to start working on chess again, and I actually think she's supposed to play like one of the freestyle events, maybe. I think maybe.
That's news to me. Well, sort of.
I think that might happen. So we don't know her strength exactly because she doesn't play much, but like, she played a few events. She played this event in Kazakhstan. I forget the name. It was like a rapid blitz event.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she would.
She played something in Russia, didn't she?
Yeah,
one of HD
Bank,
or like one of these.
I think she played maybe Karakin's tournaments, or I'm not sure.
Probably.
But she should still be the strongest player in the world. Probably.
Debatable, yeah. She's been out for a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
She's been out for at least, what, like 6-7 years, something like that?
It's been a while, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely been a while. And then from active players, they are actually having the Grand Prix, Women's Grand Prix going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
First round happened today. I think it's the last Grand Prix event. Okay, so 2 players will go to the candidates. Most likely Zhu Jiner and Goryachkina, but I don't know, maybe like Muzichuk has a chance too. And because I think Goryachkina is not playing this last one, so she can actually be overtaken without having a chance to fight back. But yeah, like Goryachkina would definitely have a chance against Wenjun, obviously, right? There's no doubt. I mean, a number of players would. It's just that, she also has experience on her side. She has some qualities that perhaps the others don't have in terms of match format as well. She does have experience at the highest level, which others don't have. Like, she's played Vaikanze and performed reasonably well. She beat Ali Reza. She has beaten top players in classical games. She's not, like, by rating, it's not so different, right? She's like 2570 or 2550 for Goryachkina. I mean, it's not a big difference. Goryachkina was also 2600 at some point. Muzichuk has been 2600. I mean, a lot of these players have, right? But I don't know. I mean, I would never say that a match won't be close. It's just, you don't really know. Like, Kramnik beat Kasparov.
Mm-hmm.
You would never say the match would be close, but he beat Kasparov without losing a single game out of, what did they play? 16 games? I think it was 16 games.
I don't know the exact number.
I think it was 16 games.
Which is funny because I got this, somebody found me online, I don't know exactly why, and they proposed that I take their whole collection of US chess magazines for like the last 50 years. So like 4 huge boxes. And I was going through the US chess from that month of the match. It wasn't actually mentioned that much, just a brief article, but I found some very, very interesting stuff in that. Lastly, let's try the Dr. Lupo challenge. Let's see your phone.
Okay, so do you want me to just take on f3?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm taking on f3.
So the challenge is that you need to make, for the remainder of the game, pretty much the best engine.